Hey y'all, Tailored by Debbie here. Today I'm going to show you how I made these adorable Valentine earrings. We're going to be using some of these wood blanks that I ordered from Amazon. I will put all of the supplies in the description box below for things I ordered from Amazon, and this is one of those. You're going to need some of the earring claw clips like this. Again, it'll be down in the description box. Some jewelry pliers. I also got those from Amazon, so I will link it below. Scrapbook paper of your choice. This I bought at Hobby Lobby this year. You're going to need a sponge dauber. I bought mine at the Dollar Tree. You're going to need a sharp needle, and I've just got an upholstery needle here, but any sharp needle will do. A pair of scissors, some parchment paper, and I'm using matte Mod Podge today, and my heat press. This is my little mini press. It's a Cricut heat press. I've got it on high. You can use a household iron, also on a medium-high setting if you don't have one of these. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to take, I'm just going to lay this on top of a little piece of parchment paper here so I don't get it all over my surface. We're going to open our Mod Podge. And then we're going to use this dauber to dip into the Mod Podge. And what I like to do when I'm using scrapbook paper is to pounce the Mod Podge onto the wood piece, just because you want the Mod Podge to be thicker when you're using scrapbook paper. So I just kind of daub it on like that, and make sure you have the entire piece of the wood covered with the Mod Podge. You don't want any areas of it where you don't have Mod Podge. So just look at it and you'll be able to tell if it's, wet looking. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take another one of these wood blanks, and I'm going to lay it down on my scrapbook paper, and then I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut a little bit wider than the piece, and then I'm going to come up on top and cut it just a little bit bigger, okay? Then I'm going to take this piece of scrapbook paper that I just cut, and I'm going to lay it down on top of our wood piece. And then I'm going to turn it upside down, and you can see there that it's got the print on the back. It's not going to show through because scrapbook paper is thick, so I don't worry about that. Now what we can do right here to make it easier for us to see where that hole's going to be, once we kind of have this laid down, is just kind of poke a little hole through and make sure your finger's not underneath it. Just very gently twist it, and you're just going to poke a little tiny hole through. And now we're going to turn this, I'm going to turn that over because there's a little bit of glue on there. We're going to turn this down, and then I'm going to take a clean piece of parchment paper, and we're going to iron it for about 15 seconds, okay? And that is going to dry the Mod Podge, and it's going to seal it to this piece of wood. And I'm just moving it in small circles. Once I initially put it down flat and held it there for a couple seconds to make sure the scrapbook paper would not slide off the wood piece. And I'm not really counting. I'm just kind of, and now I'm going back and forth and side to side for approximately 10 to 15 seconds. Okay, then we're going to lift that up, and we're going to turn it over, and we're going to cut with a pair of scissors around the piece of wood. This will make it easier when you're sanding off the excess if you cut it close to the edge. And be careful because it will be hot from where you ironed it. If you want to wait till it cools, that's fine too. Okay, so now we've cut that off. And now I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to poke it all the way through this time right there. Just poke it all the way through. And you can wait until you actually have it adhered down if you want to. And then I'm going to take it and poke it through this way and try to poke down the scrapbook pieces that are kind of sticking up right there. Poke them down inside that hole, just so they're not sticking up, okay? Then we're going to take, this is 80 grit sandpaper. You can also use a sanding sponge. You can use a nail file, whatever you have on hand. And we're going to sand in a downward motion to get the rest of the scrapbook paper off the edges. And using the sandpaper just makes it so much easier to get that excess remaining scrapbook paper off. Okay, now we're going to repeat the same steps on the other side, okay? So we're going to take and lay our wood piece down. We're going to dip our dauber in the Mod Podge, and we're going to dab. We're just going to dab until we have completely covered this side of our wood earring, okay? Make sure you get it all the way up to the edges. And then you're going to take another piece and make sure your hearts are going in the same direction. I like to cover both sides of the earring in case the earring flips around, that my print will still be showing. But that's personal preference. If you want to just paint the back a solid color or leave it the natural wood, you can do that too. All right, and then I'm going to take and lay this down, making sure the hearts are going upward. And my parchment paper has folded over. Let me get that over. I'm going to lay this down right here. Flip it over. Make sure we have it straight. Okay, let's go ahead and move that. And we'll lay this down right here. Put our parchment paper on. And we want to flip it over to the side we just added the paper to. And we're going to lay it down and hold it for a couple of seconds to make sure we've got it adhered. And then we're going to go in those small circles again. Just ironing. And then you can go up and down, just making sure to apply light pressure as you're doing this. And then you can go from side to side. 10 to 15 seconds is usually sufficient to get it to lay down flat. Okay. And now that we have that laying down, I think it's actually better to wait until you have it laying down with the Mod Podge and have it ironed on before you poke the hole. And we're going to poke a hole through, just like so. And again, you want to come through the top side on each side and just lay down any of the paper that's kind of lifting up. Just kind of put it in there and press down on the inside of that hole like that. Okay, now we're going to turn it upside down. Cut the excess paper off. Y'all, such a quick and easy craft. And you can do this any day you don't have a coordinating pair of earrings to match your outfit. Just, you can use napkins, you can use paper, you can use wrapping paper, anything that you want, any pattern that you want to use to make earrings. Okay, and we're just going to sand off the excess like we did all the way around. Now you can put another coat of Mod Podge on if you want to seal it, but I am keeping this pair of earrings and I like the natural look without any gloss. Even when you apply the matte Mod Podge, sometimes it leaves a little bit of a film. So my preference is just to leave it like this. Then we're going to take this little clip, and it has the little lobster claw, and all you're going to do, you want to make sure, which this one is, you know, reversible, but if it was one where you were going to have pattern on the front and solid on the back, you want to make sure you have your hook facing where it'll go into your ear. And then this would be the front of your earring right here. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're going to have a one-sided earring. But you just put it in there. And I like to kind of hold it on the back side with my finger. And then I take my jewelry pliers, and sometimes this takes just a minute to get it to where you can just push down until you squeeze and pinch those ends together inside the earring, and that is all there is to it, guys. Now we have an adorable pair of earrings that we can wear. I hope you give this a try. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you'll always be notified when I put out new content, and drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think of this craft and whether or not you're going to give it a try. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.